Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are here to do the Content Creator Confessions tag. This tag video was started by Kate the Great Beauty and Sarah from Better Off Red, so I will have both of their channels listed down below. I love both of their channels. I love Kate the Great. I think she is hilarious. We have chatted some. I really love her content. She does these live streams. I have a hard time watching them now with a toddler running around, but I love the way that she is just very candid, very like who she is. She talks about makeup. She does makeup beautifully. She's very much into more like minimalistic natural makeup, which I love, and she has a great sense of humor, so I absolutely love her. And then I love Sarah from Better Off Red as well. She does crew time, and so it is like her doing her makeup and talking about what she says is a terrible story while she does her makeup, and she has a great way of sharing these stories, but it's true crime, but she does it in an entertaining way that is not disrespectful to the victim and their family, but she shares the story of what happened. And I love her crew crimes. I watch every single episode, but she also does other makeup content as well, reviews, get ready with me's, things like that. So I will have both of those ladies and their videos listed down below. I did see several of my friends create this tag video or replicate this tag video as well. So I'll list all of their videos that I can find down below as well in case you are interested in checking them out. But if you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking. I love makeup. I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the Kate Bella fam. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Okay, so question number 1 says, how do you feel about the term influencer, and do you feel you are one? Okay, so I have heard the term micro influencer floating around here in the YouTube space, and that's typically reserved for people who are like under 100,000 subscribers. They're just like smaller content creators, right? Well, I found online that there's actually technically nano influencers, and those are people like me with under 10K. Now, the term influencer, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I think anybody and everybody can be an influencer. We're all influenced to do certain things, to purchase certain things. I don't feel that there's a negative connotation to the word influencer, but when I was watching my friend Heather Austin's video, she was like, I don't necessarily think of myself as an influencer, and she was saying when she talks to people and they ask what she does for a living, she doesn't share that she doesn't say like, I'm an influencer. And I'm the same. I'm a teacher. That is my career. What I do on YouTube is a hobby. I do it on the weekends. I batch film on the weekends. I edit on the weekends. Like all of my YouTube-y stuff is on the weekend as a hobby. So I don't really feel like an influencer, and I don't really talk to people about my YouTube channel. Like I just say that I'm a teacher. I talk about teaching and things like that. My friends that I'm close to know about my channel and watch my channel and ask me makeup advice, but I mean, it's not like a secret, but it's not something that I open with. Like, I don't walk around school telling all of the other teachers, like, check out Kate Bella Beauty, like, I can influence you with some makeup choices. So I don't necessarily feel like an influencer. I don't feel like it has a negative connotation. I don't feel like an influencer. I just feel like someone who loves talking and loves makeup, and you put the two together and you have Kate Bella Beauty. Question number 2 is, how did you decide to become a content creator? So I started filming at the end of 2015. I started my Instagram account in 2014. And when I was consuming YouTube content before becoming a content creator, I found that I didn't really have a ton of natural redheads that I could follow. And I noticed that when my friend Smags would purchase a lipstick, or I would see people on YouTube purchasing a lipstick, Smags has dark hair and fair skin, and the people on YouTube that I was watching didn't have a complexion similar to mine. Their hair was different than mine, so they would get like a lipstick shade, and they would share this lipstick shade, and it would look completely different on me. And I was like, okay, not bad, but interesting. So that was kind of the first time when I really thought like, I mean, I could share on Instagram a swatch of a lipstick and people could see what it looks like with my red hair and my skin tone. But I think the push for me to really become a content creator was, at the time, my husband was coaching football, so that was a lot of weekends and nights gone, and he was just coaching a lot, traveling for work, and I had time. I had a plethora of time, which I don't have now. So it started with Instagram, and I would take pictures, and I would sit in my beauty room for hours playing with makeup, creating looks, taking pictures. I don't have time to do that anymore because I have an almost 3-year-old running around and I'm pregnant with number 2, but I had so much time to play in makeup. So I would play in makeup and take pictures, but we weren't living in our home that we're in now, and I didn't really have a space for filming. So then in 2015, when we moved into our house, I had been playing with makeup. My husband was still coaching, and I thought, you know what? I can turn this into YouTube. My husband thought it was a great idea. He really pushed me to do it, and that's what I did. My first few videos, they're still up. I was sitting on the floor, and my niece, who was 17 at the time and was living with us, was holding a camera, and I filmed on the floor talking to a camera. And things have evolved. Now I have a ring light, now I have a camera stand, and I'm not on the floor. So there you go. Question number 3, what's your experience with knowing other creators in life, good or bad? So this is a fun one. Now, I did take a break from YouTube when I had my daughter. I stopped filming in April of 2019 when she was born, and I came back in June of 2020. So before taking my break, I didn't really have too much interaction with a ton of content creators. I did have friendships with people. I did talk to people like on Instagram mostly, and I did collaborations, but nothing was like very concrete. Like, I didn't have phone numbers or Marco Polos with people, and I'd never met anyone in person. So when I came back to YouTube, I came back for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to revisit the Kelly that wasn't a mom. You know, I was a new mom, I was a teacher, and I wasn't even wearing makeup, and I missed that. So I wanted to get in touch with who I was before becoming a mom. But also another part was I looked at going into YouTube this time, and I said, I really want to develop friendships, and I really want to develop relationships with people. And honestly, that's pretty much what I did very quickly after coming back to YouTube. So I came back in June of 2020, and you know, it took me like a month or 2 to kind of warm up to the YouTube space again. But by like September, October, I was trying to develop these friendships with people that I was watching. And, you know, trying to become friends with people is interesting in life if you think about it. Like, you just see a person and you're like, oh, I think they're cool, so like I'm gonna go talk to them. But it's interesting online too, because you're not really face-to-face communicating. So it would be like just watching other content creators' videos and commenting on their Instagram and DMing. And then I found that I had similarities with people like outside of makeup and beauty, and that was kind of how friendships formed. And a lot of my girlfriends that I've made here on the YouTube space, I feel like if YouTube were to go away, like we would still be friends. My experience has been great. I've met wonderful girlfriends, wonderful friendships. You know, there are so many women who were just so open to receiving me and really taking me in. And you know, I don't know how I came off in those early days, because I really was trying to make a friendship with people and trying to navigate that in the YouTube realm. But, you know, the women that I talk to have been so kind and so warm and so welcoming. I have not had any experiences where people have been mean to me. That hasn't happened. But what I have come across is there have been people who were just more closed off or not really open to connecting, where I was reaching out and maybe there would be a little bit back and forth, and then it just kind of went flat, or they just stopped responding. And, you know, at first I kind of felt a little bit bad about it. Like, you know, I wonder why that's happening. Like, why is this person like not responding to me? But if you think about your like in-person relationships, I mean, that's life. You start talking to people, Some people you vibe with right away. Some people you don't vibe with. And that's totally fine. And that's one thing I had to think about too, is I was like, trying to create these internet friendships. In the early days when you're just talking on social media, it's through text. They don't see your expression. They can't hear your humor. You just you find that you vibe with some people and you don't vibe with some people. And so I've seen that in the YouTube space as well, where there have been people where we've kind of communicated back and forth and then it just kind of fizzles out, and that's okay. That's okay. But there's been no bad blood, there's been no negativity, and overall I'd say that it's been a very positive experience and one that I've really enjoyed and one that I was really seeking out when I came back to YouTube. And, I had a great time meeting Molly in person, and I would just love to meet so many other content creators in person as well. I would love for there to be an event where we can all meet and get together. I want to meet Karen. I want to meet Kara C. I have so many friends in the beauty space that I would love to meet and hug in person. So hopefully that can happen one day in the future. That one was super long. I will try to make the others shorter. Number 4 is, do you accept sponsorships and how do you feel about them? So, sponsorships. That's interesting. There have been a lot of content creators who have been speaking out about different ways that brands have been trying to go about sponsorships. So being a smaller content creator, yes, I have accepted what I thought were sponsorships in the past. And I mean, they technically were, but when brands have contacted me, it's always been in exchange for product. So we will give you this product if you'll feature it in your Instagram or your YouTube account. And, at first I was so excited because I didn't have brands reaching out to me before. So I did take a few of those. Those were brands that I had tried, that I had enjoyed. I was excited that they contacted me. I've had brands contact me too where I was like, I don't really know your brand or know your product, so no. But sponsorships, when I think of maybe what they should be or what they are for other content creators, is when it's like a paid partnership, and I honestly am all about it. Think about the workforce. I would not teach for free. I mean, I love teaching. It's what I've always wanted to do, but I also have a family that I need to provide for, and I put so much time and effort and work into my teaching that I feel like I deserve to be paid. And I feel like it's the same thing with YouTube. I feel like content creators put so much time and effort into their videos, into their reviews, that I'm for sponsorships. I think it's great if a brand wants to work with an influencer and pay them to mention a product or do a partnership with them. I am all about it. I love that. And, I'm going to kind of echo what other people have been saying. If you are watching a content creator and they're doing a sponsorship and that makes you feel like maybe it's a little sketchy and you don't know that you can trust that person, then maybe that's not the YouTuber for you to be following or taking advice from. I feel like most of the people that I watch, I trust their opinion and their reviews, and I feel like they only do sponsorships when they feel confident about them. So I'm a fan of sponsorships. Number 5, have you had an experience with a brand that left a bad taste in your mouth? Yes, one. So I had this brand reach out to me, and this was last summer, and they wanted to do a video in exchange for a product. And I said, sure. It was something I was interested in, something I wanted to try out. They sent me the product. I filmed the 2-minute spiel in the video. I sent that back. I sent that clip to them for them to see it. And they came back and said, can you take out the part that says that we sent it over to you? And can you say that you bought the product? And I was like, what? This was a brand that I've seen larger YouTubers work with. I've seen many people work with them. And I was like, are they asking everybody to say that they purchased this product? Because every video that I had watched, people were not saying that they bought the product. And so I immediately replied and I said, no, I'm sorry, I will not do that. You sent this to me for review. I'm going to be transparent with my audience. I am not going to say that I purchased this product myself. And I honestly, this was, shortly after coming back to YouTube, and I feel like I was a little bit more naive about the way that things worked. I will not work with that brand again. I know people still work with them. I talked to people who worked with them and they said they did not have the same experience. So I don't know if it's really a reflection of the brand or just that one person that I was talking to, because initially we agreed on a date for me to post the video. And then when that date was coming up, I replied to them saying, no, I wasn't going to take that out of the video. And they literally responded to me and said something about they were like on holiday and they were going to get back to me. And so like the time that we agreed for me to post the video was during time that they were on holiday and she was going to get back to me later. It was weird. It was a weird experience. I will not work with them again. And it was just weird. Number 6, how do you deal with negative comments? Because I am a smaller content creator, I don't really get a ton of those. I would get negative comments sometimes on Instagram when I would try and host giveaways. I actually had one person like DM me and say some really mean things, but overall that's not really something that I deal with. A lot of the people who comment on my videos are people who comment on every video. They comment all the time. They are people that I like love and interact with, and I've recognized their screen names, and some of them have been following me for years and years and years, so I really don't have to deal with that just yet. Number 7, what's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to comments? Again, the people who are commenting on my videos are the people who always comment on my videos, so I don't really have a pet peeve yet. I'm sure I will at some point in time, but just because of the size of my channel, because of the reach of my videos, that's really something I don't struggle with too much, so I'm going to kind of gloss over that. Number 8, what is your favorite part about being a content creator? First of all, I love talking about makeup. So being able to talk about makeup, being able to share my opinion, I love that. I also love that it's a way for me to like do something that's just for me, you know? Like K Bella Beauty is just for me. It's not something that I do with my family. It's not something that I do for my job. Like it's for me. So I really enjoy that part of it. But perhaps my favorite part has been getting to develop friendships this time around and coming back to YouTube. That has been so much fun. It's been so nice getting to meet other people virtually, having people that I talk to on a regular basis, that we have common interests even outside of makeup, and I really love that part of it. The developing friendships, the having people to bounce ideas off of. Because YouTube, if you do this for work, it can be a really lonely place because I don't have coworkers that I can like go in the other room and say, hey, this isn't working, what do I do? But now that I have friends in the YouTube space, I can text them or hit them up on Marco Polo and say, hey, I'm having this issue, how would you deal with it? And that has been super helpful. Number 9, what is your least favorite part about being a content creator? My least favorite part? I think right now, my least favorite part kind of has to do with just like timing. Right now my YouTube is very scheduled. I film on Saturdays, I edit on Sundays. I do it when my daughter's sleeping. She's sleeping right now. And it's like my hobby, but that's like the only time that I get to do it. And I look forward to the summer because the summer I have more days that I can film. I'm not tied down to just Saturday filming, and I'll have more flexibility. So I know that's a very personalized pet peeve, or very personalized like least favorite part, but that's the timing. You know, it's very time consuming to film. It's very time consuming to edit, to create thumbnails. Filling out the description box, that is for sure my least favorite thing. That takes so long. I don't like filling out the description boxes. But yeah, just the timing and the way that my life is and my schedule is. I have certain times that I can dedicate to YouTube, and if I don't dedicate that time, then YouTube doesn't happen for that week. Number 10, do you edit your own content? And if so, do you enjoy it? Obviously, yes. I edit my own content. I don't enjoy it, but I don't dislike it. I just do it because it has to be done. Number 11, where do you draw the line in regard to sharing on social media? So I am a teacher by trade. That is my career. And being a teacher, I am, I guess, considered like a public figure. And so in like my school district hiring policy, I can technically be held liable for things I say and do outside of work hours and away from school. So on my social media, I make it so that if any of my students or their parents were to come across my social media at any point in time, it would be totally fine. So that's how I think of it. You know, I had someone, when I did my assumptions, someone said, I feel like you don't cuss a lot in real life. And I don't. That's true. I don't not cuss, but I don't cuss a ton in real life. But like, you'll never see that on my channel because a parent or a student could find it. You'll never see maybe the most scandalous topics talked about because a student or parent could come across it. I went back and forth a ton in 2018 when I had a miscarriage about sharing my experience on social media, and I opted not to do that because I do have nieces and nephews who watch my videos. So I just am conscious of the fact that there are eyes watching me, and I need to be aware of that. Also, with my daughter, I do share her on social media. She's made appearances and videos. I share her on Instagram, but I try to keep that to a minimum. And you know, I've asked Smags before, like, does my personality, like, does Kelly come out in K Bella Beauty? Because sometimes it can feel very robotic if I'm talking about makeup or beauty, and I'm like, do I, like, come across? And she said yes, 100%, that my personality comes across because I am being myself and sharing myself with you and talking about the things that I like to talk about. But also, I mean, I don't come on here and, like, air dirty laundry or anything like that either. Number 12, name one thing you wish you knew when you were first starting out. I wish that when I was first starting out, I maybe nurtured some of those friendships or relationships more. I'm a very relationship-oriented person in general. If anybody follows the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 6. They're known as the loyalist, and while that comes with a bunch of worry and anxiety, it comes with really being connected to people and my people and relationships. And I just wish that in the beginning I spent more time nurturing those early relationships and not keeping to myself so much. That might not be everybody's goal when they're doing social media or anything like that. I mean, I never went into this trying to make money. I never went into this trying to make it a career. I went into this because I was bored and my husband was working and I needed a hobby. But I do feel like in nurturing some of those earlier relationships, it just would have been helpful in the YouTube process. And you know, this still isn't something that I want to like become a career, but it is a hobby and a hobby that could make me money. And so I'm at the point where I would like to invest a little bit more into my channel to maybe make it a little bit more prosperous to the point where maybe it could supplement my makeup purchases. And that's something where I feel like had I taken YouTube a little bit more serious in the beginning and been a little bit more consistent and not so floppy with it, that might have helped with that too. But I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of all over the place and I don't know if that's really helpful. But also, this is still a hobby for me and it's still something I do for fun. So if I have 0 followers tomorrow, that doesn't really change anything for me. So it would be sad. But I mean, just starting out, you don't need all of the things. I mean, I didn't have a ring light until a year ago, and, you know, I filmed on my phone for a while. You don't need all of the fancy stuff. I feel like sometimes people feel like they need the fancy stuff. You don't need all the fancy stuff. Number 13, is there any change you'd like to make in your content in the future? No. I like talking about makeup. I don't have any plans to like do motherhood or lifestyle or change anything in the near future. Number 14, what company or collab is your dream? I would love to do a collab with lots of companies, but the one that came to mind right away is BK Beauty. So BK Beauty was one of the first brands that I reached out to develop a relationship, but they like welcomed me with open arms. They are one of the only brands that has sent me like genuine PR, asked for nothing in return. But in all honesty, I really love their brushes. Like really, really love their brushes. I don't feel like I'm the most creative person. I don't know that I would be the best at creating an eyeshadow palette, but oh, I could whip a bundle of brushes together. I could come up with a lip shade with them. I could even do a bundle with like an existing lip shade and some of my favorite lipsticks. Like that I feel like would be a great collab for me, doing something with BK Beauty. Number 15, what other creator do you admire / want to work with? I admire so many people. I would love to work with so many people in person. Obviously, any of my girlfriends, I would love to get together with them in person. I would love to collab with them in person. I would love to work with them. But if I had to think of like a larger scale creator, like a top 1% creator, I think it would be Desi Perkins. She's one of my like favorite content creators. She has been for a long time. I love her. I love watching her family grow. I've watched her for years. I got to meet her in person when she came to Houston. So that would be one that would be really cool. But there are a lot of smaller content creators that I would love to be able to like meet at an event. You know, like if Jen Beauty came back or Ipsy came back with something and we were able to get together, like there are so many creators I would love to meet because I love them all so much. Yeah, I would love for the beauty space to open up so we could do something where we could all hang out. Number 16, what kind of content do you hate? I don't think there's any kind of content that I hate, but there's content that I don't prefer. Like I'm not really into the lifestyle stuff where it's like organize with me or clean with me. When they were doing the mukbangs and people were eating while they were doing stuff, like I wasn't into that. I don't hate it, but I'm not into that. I'm more into like chatting about makeup, talking about new makeup, tutorials, get ready with me's, like that's my vibe. And number 17, the last question, have you ever had to deal with cancel culture, and if so, how? No, luckily I'm small enough to where I haven't had to deal with anything like that. I'm not into cancel culture. I don't believe in necessarily canceling people. I mean, there are things that are deal breakers for me where I will remove myself, but I always feel like there's room for people to grow and room for a second chance. But I'm a teacher, and I'm a Christian, and I feel like God put me on earth to educate and to share my experiences, and that's what I really believe in. And I believe sometimes in situations where they might be trickier topics, the real change happens over time, and it's not like in the blink of an eye. So, I mean, there are definitely situations where I would distance myself or not involve myself, but I always feel like there's room for people to change and grow, and that's kind of my stance on cancel culture. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I've been rambling and chatting a lot. If you made it to the end, leave me a purple heart emoji. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.